It's Daniel Cohn, coming at you today, Manifestation Monday, second one I'll be doing. I just wanted to bring today to the table one of my best tools for manifesting and moving forward and creating that momentum that's hard to slow down, and that's reading. I know you're probably thinking, all right, this is not really helpful to me, but reading has a ton of benefits a lot of us may have forgotten in this modern social media day and age. And I mean, in any given, I think there's a study shown that in any given 5 minute span of time, I mean, the average American is looking at 5 or 10 different things and thinking about a lot more. But between our phones, our emails, social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, our music we're listening to. So in this day and age, it's really easy to just not read. In fact, I was just looking at this study done, this poll taken by Huffington Post, and it said that out of 1,000 adults polled, 28% of them said they hadn't read one book in the last year. That's in the last year. And I just want to bring emphasis. If I'm going a little fast, it's because I want to keep these videos to the point and useful and actionable, and not 40 minutes like last week. So I want to bring focus for a second to the fact that our brain is an organ, and it's essentially our most valuable muscle and organ, and it needs to be worked out and used. And you might think, well, you know, I don't really have time for reading, and there are so many options. I'll go over that a little later. But I just want to jump into a couple of my notes here to bring some how this relates to you and everybody. So just a few of the ways that right away you'll receive benefits from actually picking up a physical book and reading. I do want to say that I have nothing against audiobooks, and so that being said, audiobooks or watching movies or videos does not provide the same stimulation and workout for your brain that reading does physically. So in this instance, we're talking about reading. And it could be, you know, on an e-reader or your laptop or an article. It doesn't have to be a hard book, but I think you guys get the picture. Physically reading. So, for one thing, it stimulates your brain in multiple areas. More than just surfing through pictures and more than listening to audiobooks, which you just need balance. Some of both is best. You can't just always listen to stuff if you want the benefits for your brain. So stimulating the mind works it out, makes it sharper, makes it easier to focus, actually enhances your concentration as well. Like I said before, we're always from so many things to so many different things. Being able to hold focus on one thing as you're reading and remember the characters or the story or what's happening works out the muscle of your brain for sharper focus and concentration, which really can boost efficiency if reading is part of your regular routine. So stress relief and reduction is actually a big one, and actually in another study shown, in a medical study I believe, said basically that for some people with mild depression, we're not talking super serious, so they did studies with both, but in this study it was people with mild depression, and it said that in 6 minutes of reading, their stress and their blood pressure and their tension dropped faster than if they listened to music for that same amount of time, or if they went for a drive or something like that. So the most effective thing in the moment, they said, was to read a book. And that's really powerful because it's the number one thing we're all most affected by today. Stress. And that's one of the things as a life coach, a lifestyle coach, and a mindset coach that I really address and want to bring down for everyone, because if all of us had a stress level that was less, our lives would be drastically different. Our health would be drastically different. Our opportunities and our outlook. So back to it, improved focus and concentration. Not only does it work that out and enhance that, which makes it so you're not in such a cloud, or it's just easier to focus and concentrate on task to task, but it improves your memory. Like I had said, especially if you're reading a long book where you're reading parts day to day. You have to remember everything going on, and that really enhances parts of your brain that you will use in all other areas of your life. So for the simple picking up a book and reading it daily, you're enhancing all other areas of your life. And this brings into holistic health, which is another thing. I'm a holistic lifestyle coach. So you can't address one area of your life and have everything come into balance. It's a whole. So I also want to touch on children and the effects that this has on them from multiple medical studies published and other things like that, lots of reading that I've done on the subject, and the fact that I have 3 boys of my own, so this resonates with me. So for kids, and this is just a few, there are so many benefits, and really if you have very young kids, and I mean new, fresh, all of ours are under 6 right now, but if we're talking infancy, if you aren't reading to them, whether they can understand you or not, you should be. So here are some of the benefits of reading to kids from an early on age, essentially from infancy up, but it's never too late to start if you're not doing it. Studies showed all over the place that, I mean, the list goes on, but reading to kids from their infancy regularly, making that regular, it doesn't matter what it is, just reading to them, actually showed in this study that they were 40% more likely by the time they got to school or got to the age of learning to read and speak. They were 43% more likely to make the connections between verbal and visual and making all the understanding, basically receptive, so understanding words and vocabulary and cognition. So whereas if they weren't, they were much slower, much more time it took them, and it doesn't mean that they're less intelligent, just if you want to improve that right away, why not? Also, it creates more of a sense of a bond with your kids. If you have a new baby or a new child and you're wondering, it enhances that bond. It also makes it so that as they approach the age of whether you put them in school or you school them yourself or they're around other people socially, for one thing, it creates an image that reading is not bad and is not to be scary. Like a lot of kids who aren't raised reading will really get this bad idea and grow into it. And also, on top of that, it really builds brain networks that serve a child and neural pathways that will serve a child the rest of their life. Multiple medical studies have been released showing that reading to kids from an early age stimulates all areas of the mind that serve them their lifetime. So, not to be harsh, but you're doing a disservice if you're not doing that for your young children. So I'll just jump right on to the last bit of this because, like I said, I want to keep these short and sweet each week so they're actionable, easy to watch. So here's something that I think we could all resonate with. I have this in certain parts of my family, so it's close to me. And if I told you that reading daily or even regularly, if it isn't daily, would drastically reduce your memory decline and your aging up here, including Alzheimer's and dementia, which of course is not a cure-all, but in several studies shown and several books that I've read on this saying that the likelihood of dementia and Alzheimer's greatly reduces for those individuals early on in their life that read regularly and also had their brain more active regularly. So it's not just reading, but that is keeping your brain active. And those that didn't, were a large percentage of them were much more likely and also faster of the memory loss, the dementia, and other things. So that's huge. That's huge. That alone would be a reason enough for me to read. So let's jump to a couple titles of books that I would recommend. So we've touched on the fact that it improves your brain, works that muscle out, the most important muscle, the master system of your whole body. So improves concentration and focus, greatly reduces stress if you incorporate it regularly, faster than music and other things, which hey, it's the study. You know, I love music, but that's just what it said. So these are mostly personal development or life coach related books, but I would recommend them to anybody to read. So first one, I know a lot of people have read this, probably backwards. The Four Agreements. This is by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I would recommend it. I'm probably not going to do a whole spiel on each of these books, but for the sake of if you're watching and wondering what's a good place to start. This is really in the Four Agreements. He reveals the source of self-limiting beliefs that rob us of joy and create needless suffering. I'm just reading it off the back. It offers a powerful code of conduct that can rapidly transform our lives to a new experience of freedom, true happiness, and love. I mean, this one, if you have not read it, read it. Okay, let's go on to my next one. These are just right on my, and I do read regularly, quite regularly. All right, you're just going to have, this is just, I'm a raw person, so The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. This one is really mind-blowing. It's pretty raw, so I don't know what kind of reading you're looking for, but it's a New York Times bestseller. It's by Mark Manson, A Counterintuitive Approach to Living a Good Life. It's really, if you know me or vibe with me on my other stuff, I would recommend it. It's straight to the point, and it's just about basically, what are we worrying about? We need to stop giving all our worries and giving our fucks about every single thing going on everywhere, everyone, and just use that energy to worry about what's most important, more or less. Here's another one you guys have heard me recommend. The Big Leap by Guy Hendricks. And it's also a New York Times bestseller. And this is really Conquer Your Hidden Fear and Take Life to the Next Level. This is huge. This is a big one. I would recommend it. It's a quick read. Basically, and this is a huge brain hack and an abundance and manifesting hack. So get this. It's really about all of us hit this certain point, it resonates with me, where we have an upper limit or a belief that we can't go past a certain point in success, in love, in relationships, whatever it may be. And when we hit that, we self-sabotage or something seemingly happens that conveniently keeps us in our safe zone, in our comfort zone. So this is about that and how that relates and how that works and really overcoming that and bringing awareness to it. And that's huge. This has happened to me so many times where I've been doing so good and everything seems perfect, and then you hit this weird cloudy area where everything becomes unfocused, unconcentrated, lack of motivation, and that's really like hitting your upper limit and hitting where your mind subconsciously feels that you can't expand past, and it's a lie that our brains have created. And this last one is really for the coaches out there. I know not everyone watching this is a coach or will be a coach, but if you are, or you're a personal development coach or a personal trainer or someone who is in the service industry, I would really recommend The Prosperous Coach by Steve Chandler and Rich Litvin. It is a must-read. Every coach I know has read it. All of my coaches, and yes, I have coaches of my own, have read it. And yeah. So there's just a couple off the top of my head. These I keep nearby. I've read all those in the last 3 or 4 months. At least one time. A few of them more than once. So yeah, I would say if you are not reading physical books or physical copy regularly, incorporate it. Do it. Let me know some of your guys' favorite titles. I love to hear if any of those vibe with you. If you've heard of them, then you read similar things to me. And even if not, throw me some titles. Let me know what you guys read. Let me know what you recommend, please. And tomorrow, I will release a list of more that I would recommend in multiple areas. I really love reading. And for just the stress reduction and the focus it brings, and the ability to keep that muscle working. Keep your brain active. Because today, with all of our phones and crap and Netflix and TV and shit, it's just like an overload, environmental overload. It's just noise. Sometimes you got to come back down to earth. Alright, you guys. Sending love and light and prosperity to you all. Hoping you all have an awesome Monday and awesome rest of the week. I hope you guys got a chance to watch the Manifestation Monday last week. I know it was a little long, but yeah, I'm working on it. So, all right. Keep an eye out tomorrow, too. I will be, again, putting a little list out of my recommended reads. And if any of you guys comment some of your books, I'll put it on that list for other people. So, all right. Have an awesome afternoon. Love your comments and feedback and support. All right, everybody. Take it easy.